I actually want to hear from Dalton Risner here, because he had a really cool statement during the press conference about why they need to be better with the run, or at least how they get better in the run. So here's Dalton Risner.
I mean, well, obviously we need to figure that out. You know, we know that hasn't just been a problem the last 2 weeks. That's been a problem for the offense all season in my eyes. And obviously we don't have that figured out yet, because if we did, we'd be doing it. So we need to get that figured out, whatever that is. You know, we work our asses off throughout the week in practice. That's not the case. It's about coming out and executing, and each of us not taking plays. It can't be the O-line one play. It can't be the wide receivers the next, the quarterback the next, and the running backs. It needs to be all 11 of us on the same play doing our jobs. And that starts with us in our position groups, and then on a smaller level, it starts with us individuals. We got to do our job. Everyone on that offense has to focus on doing their job first, and then it will all come together. We can't worry about the big picture. We got to do our jobs, and if all 11 guys do their job on every single play, we'll be successful. Now, I got to do a better job of that, and I think everyone on the offense has to do a better job of that, man. So we need to get that figured out. Going into the Raiders, we've faced a lot of great defenses this year. Some of the best teams in the NFL with the Chiefs and the Steelers and, you know, the Titans. It's some good football teams here. So going up against the Raiders, we know they're a good football team, but they can be beaten, and we got to go in there and make sure we do that.
I like the way he's taking ownership even for his performance and kind of talking about it as individuals. First of all, Dalton Risner as just a leader on that team. I mean, what a great draft pick that was last year, and it's been a little bit up and down for him. And I think he can acknowledge that some of that is having to work with a rookie in Lloyd Cushenberry who's been inconsistent, and some of it is inconsistency just overall with the offense. But his point there, and this is kind of echoing what Vic Fangio said, that whatever improvement we're ever going to see on the offensive side of the ball has to kind of go down to the 11 guys individually doing their jobs. And then, you know, form the group that will eventually be better performance on the offense. He didn't mention something in there that was kind of interesting. He's like, we can't really take plays off. Like, none of us can really have off moments in the offense. I don't think he necessarily meant it as anybody slacking, but I think he also meant it as we all kind of had to be focused on what we're supposed to be doing at all times, because that's where the inconsistencies, especially in the run game, come from.
Yeah, I think that this team, you know, we've talked a couple of different times about centering yourself, getting back to the smaller circle, you know, that kind of thing. And I think that's where this team is. It's like, hey, wait a minute. We're experiencing massive frustrations because some things aren't working. Let's get back to the small circle. Am I doing the things I need to be doing? There's some personal accountability there. Am I doing the things that need to be done in order to make this team successful? Now, once I hit that circle, let me look at the guy to my left and the guy to my right. Are they doing those things? What is it? If they are, good. If they're not, what is a constructive way that I can assist them in getting to that level so that we all are doing those things? And that's the locker room accountability. That's that player accountability. And Dalton Risner is one of those guys, one of those leaders that steps up and demands that of other people. I'm
a big fan of that word, accountability. And it's something that I think organizationally you kind of have to have. And you notice the teams, the NFL teams that don't have that. They don't have that kind of accountability. Do you feel like the Broncos have had that kind of accountability in recent years? Do you feel like, especially on the offensive side of the ball, which is the one that always gets the most scrutiny, do you feel like these guys have held each other to the fire?
I think, I don't know. I can't say they've always held each other to the fire. I think that publicly they say the right thing, but if it doesn't get better, are you really? Mm-hmm. That's a question you have to ask, and just being transparent and honest. I think there's an attempt to. I think there are guys on this team who have been vocal about the level of commitment and that some people are not carrying their weight. I think Dalton Risner and Shelby Harris have both made some pretty pointed comments that there are people, not without naming names, but made them through the media comments that some people are not carrying their weight. And they talk about getting better and the desire to get better, and you can see it on those players. So why is it not getting better? Then you have to start asking yourself that. And if you go down the line and you look at each individual player and you say, okay, are they performing to the level necessary to do this? If they are, then that suddenly becomes on coaching. But if someone isn't, that either is coaching not getting through to them or that player not rising to the coaching. And you need to figure that out. That's the point where you're at right now in the season. You're at the fulcrum is all the way tilted. And in order to get that thing back to balance, you got to ask yourself some tough questions. You got to make some tough changes. And these guys are your buddies. You know, you go out there and you practice every day together. You play together. You go to war together, you know. But you got to ask these questions. And you do. And that's what personal accountability is asking the tough questions of yourselves. And if you're not measuring up, figuring out what the solutions are.
I don't mean to sound kind of flippant here, but is it realistic to expect a young team that has not really fully gelled to really be an all-11 seeing the same thing at the same time right now? Is that realistic to expect? And if not now, when?
Well, okay, so let me get some specificity on that. When you say seeing the same thing at the same time, what do you mean?
Well, because the way he kind of framed it is the same way that Coach Fangio framed it as, if we're going to start being better on offense, we're going to start winning on offense, it's going to take all 11 guys. We can't sit there and just lean on Drew Lock and say, well, Drew Lock's got to save us here.
Right.
Well, Philip Lindsay's going to have to save us here, or Jerry Jeudy. It's going to take all 11 guys. Anytime you're going to be successful in the run game, specifically, I've heard offensive coordinators talk about all 11 guys have to be doing their job for the run game to be effective.
Right.
And if they're doing a really good job, a 4 or 5 yard run can turn into double or triple of that if they're doing a very good job.
Right.
But my question is based on the relative youth, based on the inconsistencies we've already seen. I mean, again, we're building from a basis on the offense.
Can't grade that on a curve, though. That portion of it, you can't grade on that curve.
And I'm not trying to. That's what I'm saying is I'm like, okay, well, if he's saying like this is an ideal world thing. Like we're speaking idealistically about what the offense should be doing. And I don't think we can be there yet. I don't think they are the whole crawl to walk to run thing. I think we're somewhere in the middle there. I don't think we're at the all 11 seeing the same thing and doing the same thing for success.
I disagree with that. You had a point right up until the end there. They can see the same thing. I don't know how you could be any more. I mean, if you're all looking at you know what you're supposed to do on the play, right?
Then why aren't they all executing the same thing?
There you go. That's the question. It's not just seeing it; it's doing it. It's more than just seeing it.
I mean, we're splitting hairs, but I think
that's what. But I mean, that's important though, because when you go out there, if you take a quarterback up to the whiteboard and you say, okay, what shell are they running here? It's like he sees it right away. Okay, this is cover 3, blah blah blah. But then you go out in the field and you can't execute. Those are two wildly different things.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess my point is executing more so than seeing.
It's execution. It's taking what the coaches have laid out here. This is what we're going to do. You know that coming into the season. If we didn't get a preseason or ramp up or whatever, you've been through the playbook. You know what we're going to do. Do you know how to do it? Are you capable of doing it? And then we get out there and we see what happens. Well, we didn't win. Why didn't we win? Which portion of it either didn't understand or wasn't capable of executing what that was? And if we find that everybody understood it and everybody executed, then that's on coaching, not being right situationally.